Biologix has given me like almost a new life in a way. I was almost at the end of my line. And what Biologix has offered me now is an opportunity to take the next step in my life. My name's Peter Land. I'm from outside Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. About 5 years ago, it appeared that I got a pretty major bite, a bullseye on my back. I went to urgent care, and the PA took pictures of the images on my back, you know, the bullseye and all of that. And the doctor recommended 30 days of doxycycline or whatever the antibiotic is for Lyme. And I wasn't excited about the 30 days of antibiotics, but I had really no other option at that point. The rash went away, but a few months later is when I really started to experience major symptoms. I was eating a healthy diet and I was living a pretty healthy life, but my body seemed to be not assimilating, not getting the nutrients it needed. So it seemed like something was preventing me from actually being healthy internally. Constipation, bloating. I was getting allergic reactions from a lot of food. That was a little alarming. So every time I ate anything that could be turned into sugar, carbohydrates, glucose, it seemed like my body would explode with all these reactions, hives, and they were pretty uncomfortable. Itchy, and sometimes they would happen at night, and it wasn't always related to food. Sometimes it was just heat. So like if I was in a hot environment or my skin was rubbing up against itself, I might start getting reactions. My brain fog was really pretty severe. There were times when I remember, like I couldn't remember what somebody just told me. I had fatigue. I was even gasping for breath. I did take a comprehensive blood test. What was revealed in the blood test was that my blood was starved for oxygen. I basically was not getting oxygen to my blood, and that there was severe inflammation throughout my body and a depletion of most nutrients and minerals. And I actually came up as anemic. I've always been active, and you know, I got to the point where I could run for maybe 20 seconds and I would stop because I was out of breath and I couldn't go much further. Any like high octane activity was really, really difficult for me. So yeah, it was just like one thing after another, and it was hard to even pinpoint what was causing my problems. I felt like I was like less than 50% of my normal self, maybe a quarter at times. So I knew something was like off. I knew just in general that my body, my mind was off. It kind of just initiated this whole journey to discover health and healing and to search for it. I did go to a doctor, like kind of a regular general practitioner, and he recommended taking steroids as an antihistamine to prevent the allergic reactions from happening. That was pretty much all he recommended. I told him about all these chronic symptoms that were, well, just emerging, these various symptoms that were emerging at the time. And he didn't know what to really do with it. He didn't really know what to recommend. He just thought, well, maybe I could alleviate some of these symptoms, at least with the allergic reactions, with steroids. I wasn't excited about that. I really wasn't. I said, well, I'm gonna start digging into, I don't wanna be just removing symptoms. Like, I wanna get to the source of why these symptoms are emerging. I've been healthy for most of my life. The online world became a major resource for me in my healing journey, just learning about my symptoms, what could be causing it, the microbiome, just learning about the microbiome. It's not even something that is talked about with most doctors, or at least the doctors I visited and spoke with. I began searching for clinics, and specifically clinics that were addressing Lyme, Candida, cancer, and things like that, chronic health issues. And Biologix came up in my search. What struck me and what was so convincing to me was the unique approach that Biologix offered with native phage therapy, inducing phages, and the bioelectrical spectrum testing. That to me was, as I began to read about it and do research on it, I knew it was something that really set apart the practice from pretty much all of the others. So that was kind of a game changer, was like, wow, and I knew about phages and I had taken some phages before, but Dr. Jernigan's approach seemed to be entirely unique. And then reading about the testimonies of others was very convincing. The atmosphere here at Biologix really, it's one of healing for the whole person. So it's not just reduced to body symptoms, even though that's what they're focusing on, trying to find out what's going wrong in the body. But the focus on like purpose and meaning and values here and flourishing as a human person, I felt like I was at a place that I could call home for the time that I was here. I felt so comfortable. There was a great rapport among all the patients and the staff, and everybody was so positive. After being at Biologix for 2 weeks and in the ensuing weeks after that, many of my symptoms, even just during my time at Biologix, many of my symptoms were not only alleviated, but began to disappear. Energy started coming back, color started coming back to my face. I felt like I improved at least 80% from where I was at. So I was having healthier digestion, bowel movements. I was having greater mental clarity, more energy, more aliveness. I felt brighter, I just felt clearer. There was more, like as I mentioned, color. Even many of my friends and family back home mentioned you look much better. I have spoken a lot about Biologix, especially with people who are struggling with chronic health issues. I would, without reservation, give it recommendation and invite people to come and consider. Where I was at before coming to Biologix was just trying to survive from one day to the next. I knew I couldn't actually explore what my heart's desire was and is because I wasn't in a position to really make a decision. I didn't feel healthy enough to move in another direction and to follow the desires of my heart. So it's opened up a horizon for me, and it's given me kind of new enthusiasm and excitement for living again, for pursuing, I feel like, the meaning and the purpose for why I'm here on earth. And that is really in thanks in large part to my time here at Biologix.